program works. Yes. Hey, everybody. Hello. How are you tonight? It's Susan Lynn, Psychic Medium, and her good friend, Kevin Loving's Vibrations, here to answer your political questions. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Susan? It's been too
I'm good.
long.
It's been too long. Did you have a good holiday?
It was very stressful, and then I got a cold afterwards. But
Oh, no.
it hasn't
Oh,
been too bad. It was we hosted like 3 different family gatherings, so it was just a lot the week of Christmas, and
no.
then we had some friends from out of state come over for the week for New Year's. So it's been fun.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of doings right there.
It's
That's
a
a lot
lot
of
of
doings.
doing. Yeah. How have you
Awesome.
been? How was your holidays?
It was good. I didn't do anything like that. I
Nope.
went out to dinner. Had good friends. It was a nice, relaxing. I was very blessed actually on this holiday,
Nice.
so I'm feeling very blessed right now.
Yes.
Hello to everybody joining us. I think we should maybe start off by just saying, and I'm sure Kevin feels the same way, our thoughts and prayers go out to those people that are experiencing the fires in California.
Yeah.
Sounds absolutely devastating. I know that I have a member in my online community whose daughter lived there. I'm not sure if her house is still there or not. So our thoughts and prayers are with you. Of course, also with the tragedy in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Kind of a somber twist to our holiday, but we are going to band together and support each other, and we're going
Mm.
to get through this.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a little weird too with the weather. Um, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, the song of fire and ice. Half of the country's all frozen and in the south where they don't have the infrastructure for it. And then I know that there's quite a few fires out there too. But yeah, it's absolutely devastating seeing the news and all of the destruction from the fire in Southern California. So um, let's all just send positive intentions. Everybody stays safe and protected, and those winds start to die down so they can get everything contained.
Yeah, send positive prayers over there. And yeah, Jimmy Carter too. Although I'm not sad for him, I'm it's
Mm,
almost like wistful. I feel wistful, you know. Um I think he was ready to go, and I think he chose
mm,
when he was ready to go. I think nobody, I think this guy decided when he went. And we all know that, when you cross over, you get a whole different homecoming and beautiful
yeah.
experiences. It's more sad for us than it is for Jimmy.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Absolutely. It's paradise over there.
his
And I
wife is
agree.
there.
He fought on, I think, and pushed through. Well, he was in hospice for what, like a year and a half, 2 years, a while. But yeah, he wanted to vote in the election and stick around for that. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's a wonderful reunion on the other side.
Yeah. What a great guy. What a juxtaposition. What a good
Mm,
example of how we really want our politicians to be, right? Like
yeah, absolutely.
uh what a great example. Um yeah, I'm
And
sure he's
somebody
enjoying.
and somebody that actually, practiced what they preach and actually did the work to really help other people, right? Not just up there giving speeches and nothing wrong with that, but really, really concerned in building homes for people, what, in his 80s.
Yeah. Him and his wife too, right? I mean, she
Yeah,
did a lot of that work too.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
really
and
good work.
and and he came out on all the right subjects. He's a little bit like Biden in a sense. He was a man of faith, but he also
Yeah.
had his problems with the church. He's like, look, you
Mm,
guys need to be more inclusive of women, and so both Biden and Carter kind of have that in common, really.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think, I only talked to Jimmy for a second. Like he crossed over, and I think I got him on the bat phone for like 30 seconds literally, because I
Mhm,
I actually, why would I want to bother this guy, right?
yeah.
Um so he's fine. He's
Mhm.
God knows that man lived a whole bunch of lifetimes rolled into one, right? Like wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He packed it in.
I just felt a whole the mediumship's not my strongest. I'm definitely very more empathic. So I often kind of connect with the feeling, but it just felt like peace and so much love around him as he was transitioning. So
I'm telling you, man,
like I
it just
said,
gives me chills, Kevin. It just gives me
yeah,
chills. That's beautiful. Yeah, they did have pure hearts, Christine. So we're here to talk about politics. This is
yay,
I think I would just tell everybody, take a deep breath, right? Because
absolutely.
the way I feel about it is, this is, if you've watched me, I've laid it all out on the line in my videos. I've been very
Mm,
clear about what I think and what I'm getting. And I've also been very clear that I could be wrong, right? So, um, but for me, this time is the time between the time. You know what I mean? Like, this is no man's land. Um,
yeah,
I just don't see a lot getting done right now in one way or the other. That's seminal, that has a lot of importance, right? For me,
mm,
I feel like if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen closer to the 18, 19, 20
mm,
of January. So I'm kind of just trying to keep my own wits about me, right? Like, I'm human. I'm just as upset as you guys are. I'm just as worried as you guys are. And
yeah,
I'm just trying to ground my energy, direct my energy where it's got the best use, where it's the most helpful, and worrying just isn't helpful. Take it from me. I'm a worrier. It just doesn't,
mhm,
it doesn't fix anything. But
yeah,
we're more than what we're here to support you guys, because Kevin's energy is always so nice and calming. So
yeah.
um,
And that's really what I would say too. You know, during all of like the chaos and turbulent energy that we're kind of going through, for all of us light workers out there and sensitives, it's so important to make sure that we are grounding and that we're working on our own energetic frequency, because our internal energy is really that mirror that we put out into the world. So, we don't want to put more anger or fear out into the world and kind of amplify that energy. I think it's really important that, um, even though it's scary and it's not comfortable, the energy that we're kind of sitting in, that we project that hope and that faith and that love out there, because that's really what the world needs right now. It's so making sure that we're taking really good care of ourselves and doing things to keep those vibrations up. It's so important.
distract yourself.
Yeah,
Distract yourself. Find a
yeah,
new
absolutely.
hobby. Um, Ground, lots of grounding, lots of
Yeah.
grounding. Do you have a particular way that you like to ground? Because you're an energy healer.
Hmm.
If you guys don't know Kevin, he does readings, he does Reiki, he teaches classes, he's been a speaker at events. So he is somebody that could probably help us out about right now. So do
Yeah,
you have a way that you like to ground that you would
I
share?
love to ground by connecting to that breath, and I do so with my Reiki too. So, um, taking those deep supportive breaths from like the lower belly, and when I do that, I kind of imagine pulling up that strong earth energy up through that grounding cord and then going up the spine and up through the chakras, and then just releasing anything that's not serving me on the exhale. And
Nice.
so, yeah, and you can do it from the heavenly realm too, to bring in creative ideas and that insight from your guides and angels, kind of bringing it down through the crown as you're pulling it in, and then pushing anything that's not serving you into the earth so it can be transformed. So I do it that way, and with the Reiki healing, I think it can be really, really grounding and balancing.
And when you say you're just pulling it, basically it's your intention, you guys. My intention is that I'm pulling energy from the heavenly
Hmm.
realms. And I'm just, you don't have to see it. You don't have to be a Reiki master. You don't have to be
Yeah.
anybody. You can just intend for this energy to come into your body, right? And I would just say this, and then we're going to get to the politics, and that is that I had this epiphany once when my spirit guide said that humans were meant to be the divine connection between heaven and earth.
Mm,
And in that way, right? That's what he's just talking about, is if you send your energy down into Mother Earth and then gather it and then send it up into the heavens, you're the divine connection. Humans are the
yeah,
divine connection. So as much as you can do that, you'll feel better. Okay. You really
absolutely.
will.
And it's even a little bit too of not necessarily. just imagining that you're pulling it through, but you can actually take your inner awareness and pull it down to like the feet or down to the
Nice.
earth, and then pull that awareness up, or from the heavenly realms, and bringing it down too. So that's how I kind of do it. I kind of just intuitively feel into the energy and bring in that awareness in the body. And sometimes too, you can even do that with your chakras. If you feel like there may be a blockage, pull your awareness there, breathe, and feel into that space. Or maybe you're more clairvoyant and you can see things or hear things as you're sitting in that space. Being very empathic, for me, it normally comes in through a feeling or emotion.
Nice. There you go, you guys. This is how you can spend the next couple of weeks
Yeah.
practicing that. It will pay off in dividends. It'll
Yeah.
This is you're investing in you. There's nothing better than to invest in you. Okay, let's see. Let's do a few questions, shall we?
Let's do it, my friend.
Let's do it.
I don't think
Ooh.
I can start, so that might be on you.
Oh no, I sent you an ad. I made you an admin and you can't start?
Maybe I didn't see the invite.
Oh, okay, that could be.
I did not see it.
That's okay. That is okay. We got this. We normally do more talking, and
Yeah.
the questions kind of help us a little bit, but we don't do like a quick Q&A kind of thing.
We bounce off of each other a lot.
Yeah, we really do. And there's a lot of compliments coming to you, Kevin, from the compliments, because he's a great Reiki healer, but he's a great teacher too. So
Thank you.
let's see. I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is. I mean, Rose, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Allison Riggs. Will Allison Riggs win her appeal to be Democrat? Oh, the Democrat of the new North Carolina Supreme Court. Did you already read on this, Kevin?
I haven't, no.
Okay, it's a mess. The Republicans want to eliminate 6,000 votes. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of constitutional crises. What's that, Kevin?
60,000 votes.
Oh, yeah, 60,000. Sorry. Will she win her appeal to be?
I feel like she's got it still. I don't think that the Republicans will be successful in that. I'm feeling victory around her, but I'll throw a few cards for Allison Riggs.
I thought victory too at first, and then I got a little disappointment. So I don't know if she comes on strong and everybody thinks, oh my God, her case was, waterproof, it was foolproof, and then some shenanigans happen. But I got positive in the beginning. I got yes, and then I got a little maybe.
Yeah. I get a bit of a delay with it.
Maybe that's what it is. A delay in the actual court case going to the court case, or the sentencing. I mean, not sentencing. The what do you call that? The decision.
Yeah. Well, I do get that, the hangman, which I was getting a lot for the election results too. It's about delay. It's about things being suspended. And it's a bit of a battle, kind of fighting this fiery dragon here. Not the easiest, but we're ultimately where she's going. She's done all the hard work. It will pay off. This is a card of doing the work, waiting to reap the rewards, and then the rewards coming in with the 9 of Pentacles. So it feels good to me, but it does feel like it's a bit of a battle. They're trying to steal it from you.
That's what I was feeling then. Perfect.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Linda has asked that she hears from Danny, bathrobe. See, when I'm connected to spirit, I can't. Bathrobe to row, right? Bathrobe. Anyway, Danny, we know Danny.
Yeah, Danny Shea.
Yeah, Danny Shea. That Kamala will be out of the country this 13th to the 17th. And then somebody said, what's up with them doing so much traveling? Like Biden was in California, actually, when the fires broke out, because I was actually doing an Instagram live, my first ever, with Celeste Brooks, who's an astrologer. I was on her Instagram. And somebody in the chat said, he's definitely here because I do work at this hotel that he's staying at. So why do we think, he was just in New Orleans. He was in California to do something with some indigenous tribes to honor them or something. So he had a reason for being there, but he seems to be very busy. And then here Kamala is also being very busy. What do we think they're doing? What is the reasoning behind this?
They're not wanting all the attention on them. They're trying to kind of get away from the public to have meetings, I feel like. Kamala being out of the country is kind of interesting too. And after the election, she was in Hawaii too. And I think we both picked up that she was kind of getting some information from the intelligence. It's almost like I feel like they don't want to put too much out there too soon to have Donald Trump lose it and kind of bring in this fight. So they're doing getting a lot of their intel behind the scenes or traveling to receive that. Because and I think you feel the same way. I've always felt like with this election interference that it may be a NATO response or announced from one of our allies overseas before Biden actually acts on it or makes that announcement. What are you picking up with traveling? Do you feel like it's meeting people, trying to be discreet?
I think it's multi-pronged. It's exactly what you said. Like they don't want to, for some reason, when I put their energy in the White House, it doesn't feel good. Like it's bugged or it's, I don't know. They don't like it. It doesn't feel comfortable. So number one, but number two, I think traveling gives them an opportunity to be in places that are not bugged, that are that look, going to Hawaii, you can't get further away from the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whatever listening devices might be, the drones, the balloon, whatever it is, right? So I think that part of that is that. And I think the other part is I get this sense from both of them that they're really trying to show America this is what a president and a vice president is.
Yeah.
This is our track record. This is the benchmark that Americans should use when they're thinking about a president and a vice president. So there's like lots of things going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that the world card's coming in, which is the world travel feeling a bit restricted or trapped with maybe where they're at. They're trying to the hermit, so they're trying to get out of the public and fight for what's rightfully theirs. And you have this passionate, actionable woman coming in, bringing in that hope, the faith. So,
yeah, Connie, I don't know who you're referring to. I don't think they're running scared. No, I don't know. Somebody said that in the comments, but no, we're not saying that at all.
No.
How's it going, Karen, with Little Blue Lotus Astrology's here? Check out her channel. It's very good astrology. Yeah, no, I don't think they're running scared at all. This is all strategy. These Kamala and Biden are strategists. They're 5 steps ahead of everybody else at all times, honestly. And Biden's granddaughter just gave birth in California. So again, multiple reasons. His PR release said he was meeting with indigenous tribes in Joshua Tree, but also my granddaughter is being born. So it's like, how you get a work trip and then you kind of put in a family trip at the same time. That's what he was doing. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Thank you, moderators. Oh, Kevin Lewis, Medium is here. Hey, Kevin. And thank you, moderators, for everything you do. We see you. We thank you. All right. We talked about that, Ton, about the North Carolina judge. We feel like she's going to get in, even though I think Kevin picked up there could be some issues, delays, or challenges, let's say. But I mean, I'm not 100%, but I feel like there's an 80% chance she gets in. So yeah. Let's see if there's anything else we can. I know she has family in Hawaii, Carol. I know that. But again, like, look how Biden said, I'm going to go talk to these indigenous tribes. They're complicated human beings. Yes, she has family there, but there can always be other reasons. It's convenient. It's convenient that there's family there. That's what I would say. That's what I'm getting. gosh, there was, I don't have this, I don't even know who this woman was, but there's this Canadian, I think she was a politician, and she did a whole like several minute long speech about how Canada doesn't want Donald Trump, and
Mhm.
instead she offered for California and Oregon and Washington to join Canada.
Canada. I
And
love it.
then she offered the East Coast. She said, look, we've had scholarly papers talk about these things. This is not out of the realm. And she said, and guess what you're going to get? It's almost like you chose door number 3. And she's like, you're going to get universal health care.
Right?
It was awesome. It was really awesome. And she really took Donald Trump to all kind of tasks over that. Like, your people need us. Like, they want
Mm.
us. We're a much better option for the United States. That was really
Well,
awesome.
maybe at the time being, but I do kind of feel some turmoil in Canada soon
Oh,
around
I do
me.
too. Yeah, Trudeau stepping down, right? Yeah. Well, the same factions that have been bedeviling us are bedeviling Canada.
Well, the
They're
world.
trying to take away their national health care.
Mm,
They're trying to make it more profitable, more privatized.
yeah,
And like you said, it's the whole world.
the whole world.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I would come up with stuff. I'll say for my own mental health, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are doing the same thing. I haven't been watching the news too much recently, so
I haven't either. A friend texted me that Canadian woman. So that's how I even knew about it, because she's not even
mm,
the person who posted it is not even somebody that I follow.
yeah.
Um, oh, so Biden had a grandson. That's great, a great grandson. That's awesome.
Susan, what's your feelings about? Do you see or feel like SCOTUS is going to take up 45's requests to stop the sentencing ruling on Friday?
The sentencing. I could be wrong, but I'm getting no.
I'm not feeling it either.
You're not feeling it either? It's
I thought
almost like
maybe
it's too quick. Like,
I feel like 2 are in favor of trying to stop it, but the rest don't even want to take it out. I feel like
this
the sentencing happening now. It's not. I think Mershon's already said that it's not going to include jail time. I've never personally felt jail for Trump, but it will be nice for that to actually be on record being a convicted felon. I know it's not nearly enough, and if it was anybody else in that position, um, you know, not equal justice for all. He gets away with everything, but um, it'll be nice that it's kind of it's on the record.
And that took some courage for Judge Mershon to do, because I know he's been threatened, and his family's
Hmm.
been threatened.
Absolutely. What about what are you picking up with the Jack Smith case being released?
I feel like at least the first portion is going to be released. It's going to be heavily redacted, I think. But I feel like the part that we see is still pretty damning,
Yeah,
but it doesn't make me excited, because nothing seems to really move the needle.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing. What does it do? I think what it does is it goes into the history books, right? And that's an important thing. So I think that's good. But
I get good cards with it actually. Um,
good.
and Trump's going to be very upset over it, which
Well, he's already upset about it. Yeah, he's
yeah,
he's pretty upset about it
the
already.
cup is overflowing with emotions. Um,
Yes.
been a lot of hard work. It is going to be a bit of a fight there. So I don't think we're going to all be satisfied with what's in there. I think most in our community and people that have been following the readers, we've kind of chatted about a lot of the stuff in there. So it's not going to be super surprising for us. I do feel like some surprising things in there, but yeah, they're rushing to get it out. I think what Garland he's going to release the January 6th part of it. but maybe some things that they're still investigating, like co-conspirators and stuff like that. I don't know if we're going to be all getting all of that information. That might be some of that redactions that you're picking up.
Do you feel like that's ever gonna be used in a effective way to bring him down?
To bring Trump down? No, but I feel like those around him will fall from it.
Okay. Okay. I can go with that.
I don't feel the best about Donald Trump's health. And
Yeah,
I've said that many times anyway.
I know.
I don't put too much energy into looking into his administration if that were to happen, because I don't want to sit in that energy and manifest that kind of energy when I feel like there's a good possibility that that might not come to happen. But should it come to happen, he won't be in there for very long. The health is really going to take him out, and everybody turning on him.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel like I don't feel like it's the end of it. I do feel like Jack Smith's work continues on in the future.
Right.
He just may not be alive or well enough to,
right,
to get in trouble for that or have that take him down. But others, right. I do see that.
Right. Which we've always seen. Like, I think you and I both agree. We've never seen him in jail. I've never seen him in prison. Right. Yeah. I've seen him like in a memory care situation, or I've seen him crossed over. That's kind of the only two ways that I kind of see him. I've never successfully seen him leaving the country, not successfully. Right. So yeah, he's got a lot of pressure on his heart right now when I go into his interview. So
I felt the same thing, Susan. I think it was in December I was reading on it, and it almost felt like he couldn't breathe. Like I don't know if
pressure.
Yeah, but like the lungs, it felt like it put a big strain on his heart, but like he couldn't catch his breath almost.
Oh wow! He could have been having an MI,
stroke or something like that, or clots or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
he's not doing very well.
He's got to be clogged up.
Yeah,
he's got to be clogged up. So this is interesting. A long time ago, I read about Justin Trudeau, and I saw him being tripped up and being attacked and potentially having to step down. And I did see a woman. I felt like he might be, preceded by a woman. I don't know much about Elizabeth May. Cindy B says it's an American-born Canadian MP who is the head of the Green Party. People are saying, could she be the one that takes over? Is there a question? Are you guys wondering, could she be the new prime minister? Is that possible?
I don't know who would be up for that. I do feel like there's some shifts though in the power in Canada. I'll just say.
Oh, Elizabeth May was the woman. I'm sorry, Kevin. That's the woman who did the whole diatribe against Trump, I think, is Elizabeth May. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. Got it. And she's in the Green Party. Okay. Well, she's a Spitfire. She reminds me of Katie Porter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but no, I do feel like I don't know if it's a Conservative Party and the Liberal Party. I'm not really all that familiar with Canadian politics, but I do feel like Canada is going to have some hard times ahead. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong.
In what way? When you say that, you mean economic or social justice, or
I feel like politically?
Politically, okay.
I feel like they may have their own. Doesn't feel like it's as extreme as Trump is here, but their own challenges for a small cycle to kind of get through it. Because Trudeau's been in power for a while, hasn't he? I think he was in power when Obama was president.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's been in power a long time. Yeah, I think, we all have to learn the lesson. If God knows Americans have got a bunch of lessons to learn, but for Canada, it feels like they're trying to chip away at the healthcare. They're trying to chip away at that, nationalized healthcare. and make that privatized, right?
Mm,
And I know Canadians pay a lot more for things. Like I have a class coming up this Saturday on how to manifest money. Actually, there's still tickets available. You can go to my website,
nice.
susanlynnmedium.com. But a Canadian emailed me and said, it's 47 your money, but it's like 67 our money, which is like, that's a
Uh,
big difference, right? Like,
yeah,
so they do bear a burden of more cost, but they do get more things. And then it's hard when you've always gotten those things, it's hard to understand that that's a value. You're just used to it, right? So I think
yeah.
Canada gets to make some choices about that, about what they want.
I feel like there's a shift in power, but it does feel like it's um, not a huge like swing to the opposite side. It feels like it's pretty evenly divided. So I don't think that
Oh,
like
interesting.
losing healthcare is what's going to happen. But I feel like there are some guardrails to like a total conservative takeover. But
But it's a pretty good breach, right? Like
yeah,
I think it gets closer than people are comfortable with. And I mean, look, that's happening in Europe, right? Like Austria and
yeah,
Germany and France and
France,
all
yeah,
these places. And it's like, golly, what's going on right now? Well, it's an opportunity for you to understand that you really have to fight for it right now. If you want your democracy, you really have to want your democracy because there are forces that are coming for it at the moment.
absolutely, yeah, and to make you really appreciate it too, right?
Right. And when you're used
Mhm.
to something, you don't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're like, oh my
give it
God,
your
I would
brain.
pay an extra $20. But you think about an extra $20 for everything you're buying, it really adds up. It really becomes a lot of money, right? But some of us are paying $1,000 a month for health insurance, right? So it's like
Yeah,
that's still a win for me. Or if you're paying $500 a month, I don't know. It's a complicated subject, but hang in there, Canada. Um, you can learn from us what we're doing. We're making a pretty big mess of it. So somebody asked about China. Somebody asked about Xi, if Xi is going to be around,
mm,
and powerful. And I think actually China, and then we can get to this question secondly, but I feel like China's flexing their muscles right now. One of the things that I saw was because 45 is such a blowhard, you know what I mean? He's such a
mhm,
bully that it's sort of empowering these other bullies. And so what's happened is that we know that at least a Russian ship drug their anchor and broke cables going to Europe that were internet communication cables. And we know that when the whatever country it was boarded that ship, it wasn't a goods container ship. It was actually had all of this spyware on it.
yeah,
And that's not the first time. They've been breaking these cables for
you've been doing it
over
for
a
a while.
year. But
Yeah,
now this is new. Now China's doing it to Taiwan. So you kind of see this bully energy sort of, spreading.
yeah.
What do you think about China? What do you think about going
Oh,
forward?
I
How
agree with
are they
you
gonna
100%. It's China and Russia are both testing the waters um, to see what they can get away with. Like they're flexing that that power move. I do feel some changes in China, but it feels like it's a couple years away still. Like I'm feeling like in 4 or 5 years before there's major change with the political
Yeah, I got
situation
4
over there.
years. I got 4
Yeah,
years. Because the truth of the matter is, like, when I go into this energy, Russia cannot sustain what they're doing. Their dollar, their finances are tanking, and China's not doing that well either.
yeah,
They had that whole real estate, crash. Um, and so I don't think either one of their economies is doing all that great, which is another reason why, you puff up and you try to be bigger and badder than you really are, so people, don't see the
yeah.
weakness.
I do feel like China is going to continue to escalate things with
Ooh,
Taiwan, but
what are you
also
gonna
part of it like a distraction. Like look over here while we do something over here, kind of thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it doesn't feel like it's war energy, but it does feel like it's kind of ramping things up, causing a bit of a fight. Now, there's not a lot of action in this card, which is why I'm saying it doesn't feel like it's full war, but it's
Is
kind
it
of being that
bluffing?
bully.
Kind of
Yeah.
posturing?
Hmm.
Saber rattling?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
And we're
You
going to see
know,
more of that escalation next year into next year, I think 2026 too.
yeah.
Because I kind of feel like we're getting to a point with Ukraine and the Russian war where that
Mm-hmm.
starts to wind down
Mm-hmm.
um, in 2025. Actually, it feels like spring 2025 to summer. But yeah, China's still trying to, show their power and all of that too. I agree though, China's not doing very well with their economy right now too. So I think that they'd be pretty limited what they could do.
And that's why they want to act big, right? Like
Mhm.
when you're really struggling, that's when, especially if you're in that kind of government, right? You want to flex your muscles. You want everybody to think you're much bigger and badder than you are. That's interesting what you were saying about Ukraine. Do you feel like Ukraine? I mean, this is a war of attrition, and now we're in this situation where Russia can get soldiers from North Korea. Ukraine doesn't have any, country to go get or
Yeah.
conscript soldiers from. Do you feel like Ukraine is still going to come out on top?
Yeah. I do feel like there is some negotiation, but I feel the downfall of Putin and his regime.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
have
like that
two, but
really
he
is
won't go.
escalating it. Mhm.
I have two, but he won't go.
Yeah. Well, I think it's coming sooner rather than later. So
Yeah. I can't read on if Trump is passing soon because I asked too many times. I used all my tickets and they said,
mm.
don't ask us again. So
Getting
I don't
annoyed with the same
for trouble.
question every day.
Yeah. I asked them every day for like, I don't know, months. And they were like, are you okay? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay. They're like, "Well, this is a very low energy thing that you keep asking us." I'm like, well, just
Mm,
answer me. I don't have to keep asking. Anyway, it didn't
yeah.
work. Um, So I really don't know. I mean, I'm with Kevin. I think that his energy is he's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
Whatever they're pumping him up with is working. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
they have found the cocktail to the fountain of life to keep this man going. But it's not a forever thing. It's all really he's just on a wing and a prayer at the moment. And we know that he can't pray, so he's basically on the wing of the devil or something.
they might
Somebody
be
asked,
pumping them up for the physical health, but I think with how crazy and outlandish everything, I mean, he normally is that way, but talking about taking over Canada and Greenland and um,
God,
like the Panama Canal, it's
and
insanity.
renaming the Gulf of Mexico. Did you see that part?
Yeah, you can see that too.
But those are distractions. Like renaming the
Mhm.
Gulf of Mexico is a distraction. I think he's just again, it's the same energy of puffing up your chest, trying to be big, and don't mess with me. I'll take Canada. You know what I mean? It's really just
Yeah,
a theater. It's wrestling. It's basically
yeah,
he's going back to his wrestling days.
pandering, pandering.
Pandering, yeah, and posturing. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if you read on the 19th. I get really bad energy about the 19th, which is
oh,
that
for
rally that he's
the
doing.
rally, yeah,
Um, I mean bad energy. Like I like there could be violence, there could be like an attack or a what do you call that friendly fire? Like when you know what I mean? Like I don't I just it just feels bad. It feels
mhm,
really, really bad.
yeah. I read on it, and I definitely felt like I remember I got the Ace of Cups, which is have playing on that emotional reaction and a very fiery, angry kind of energy from his crowd. Now, it kind of felt similar to January 6th, but I don't feel like that's how it would play out or like another swarming. But I do feel like they're trying to cause trouble. They're trying to fight. I feel anger with it.
And unrestrained. And I don't know
Yeah.
anything about astrology, but right now anger is big. Okay, Mars being retrograde, I think in Cancer. Cancer's home, and the United States astrology chart is Cancer.
Hmm.
So it's this is a bottleneck of angry energy that's just ready to come out, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's bad
But,
timing on their behalf, but I think that's what they want.
but why would they be so upset if the next day their king is being inaugurated? So does that
I
kind of make
know.
you feel like maybe something else happens before then that gets that reaction out of them?
Yes. We can talk about that for a second too, because
Yeah.
yes, I think maybe the 17th. I feel, you know what? You and I both kept picking up. I just remember back in December that
Hmm.
or even November, like you were getting the 18th. You got like the 18th of November. I got the 18th of December. Now we're back around to the 18th. There's
Oh,
something about,
interesting.
and that's a nine number, nine, endings, and we're in a 9 year. I don't know. There's just something about that 17, 18, 19, 3 days that are just
Interesting.
really distraught. The word I want to say is distraught. Um, yeah. I don't know. I can't understand those people. They fight each other. They're warlike. They're
Yeah.
just like very not very evolved humans.
Well, and I do remember before even the election, me and you were doing a show, I think, on your channel, and we felt like there may be a delay with the inauguration until March or April. And
Yes.
I've listened to a lot of
Months
astrologers
ago.
since then that have said that the exact same thing. Like it could be a delay for a few months. And
Months.
like
I mean, I'm telling you, in the
astrology.
summertime, Kevin and I came up independently that we felt like that the transfer of power would be delayed until March. And
Yeah.
you're reading this and you're like, I don't know, and we still don't know, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't really know how this is going to play out. You don't always know what direction a tornado is going to go. You see the tornado, but you don't know, where's it going to go, right? So it's interesting that
Mm.
that is the case. I still look, you guys, the way I'm doing it is January 20. I'll be on probably YouTube, and we're going to be figuring out what we're going to do next either way,
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's not a panacea. I mean, I love Kamala Harris, but if she gets in through, or if Biden has to stay in because of an act of war, then you can only imagine what these nut jobs are going to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to make a lot of us really unsafe. This
Yeah.
is in some ways worse, right? And then I know other readers have read on it, and I just never say it because like you, I'm tired of talking about him. But
Mhm.
I do see that if that happens, if there is a declaration of war, or and when I say declaration of war, I'm not talking about WW3. I'm actually just talking about a flare up that dissipates, but it's enough
Mm.
to get us to delay. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm seeing. But he'll be in Mar-a-Lago trying to create his own government.
Oh, absolutely. We'll probably have an inauguration down there for
He
himself.
will. I know.
Yeah.
I know Libby. I think other readers have read on it. And I know this. Like, I know this, but I never talk about it because I just can't. I just want him to go away. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, he'll be he'll be trying to stand an army.
Yeah.
Think about it, guys. It's not going to be. And so when people say, why aren't the Democrats fighting more or Biden fighting more? Well, because this is what would happen. We
Mm.
would have an instant civil war.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe that's preferable. I don't know. But
Either
it
way it plays out, Susan, it's going to be very uncomfortable and
exactly,
unstable.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd rather have Kamala Harris, but um, so um, let's move on. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Do
You
you
know,
get a hit on Go ahead, Susan.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you get a hit on um, how long that fire is going to be going in California?
That's a good question, because when I was talking to Celeste last night, right when that thing broke out, I got that it was like the Lahana fire. I said it like the fire had just broken out. I'm like, this is bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I get this weekend, and I don't know if it's going to be reduced and then flare up, or if it's going to jump, or if there's going to be another one. Like I know there's that fire, but there's some other fires too around LA that aren't even connected to that fire. So I feel like something could happen this weekend. Also, this whole Mars thing is fire.
Yeah.
So you guys just be careful, even in your own lives, in your own kitchen, if you're barbecuing or if you're grilling or if you've got a candle. This is not the time. Be very careful around fire. So what do you get?
Absolutely. I saw the number 3, which I think might go into this weekend, like 3 days. I do agree, though. I don't know if it's a total containment within the 3 days, but maybe that's when they're starting to get it under control. But when you were talking too, I don't feel like this is. I felt like this fire was done intentionally from a bad act.
What? You think it was set intentionally? Wow.
Yeah, somebody just asked too. I do feel like it was.
That is so disgusting.
Yeah, and it's not just one person too. I feel like multiple people being involved with it.
Do you feel like they're going to be discovered? Do you think this is going to be something that's going to be, they're going to be arrested, investigated, discovered?
Big investigation into it, I feel like. And I do feel like they'll find those behind it.
Are they younger people?
I'm feeling male energies, like at least 3 or 4 people connected with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do feel like it was intentional. It's a shame too. I know that I think last I heard that there was only 2 deaths, but I do feel like it may go up a little bit.
I hadn't even heard.
But just a lot of, I get group work. The truth will come out though in time, future, the sun. But it was multiple people. It was a collaborative effort.
I didn't even think, I was so focused on the tragedy. I didn't even think about that part. That's really terrible. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah. Oh, Libby's here. Hey, Libby.
5 deaths now.
5 what?
Libby, 5 deaths now. Somebody just said.
God, that's terrible. It's a terrible fire, you guys. It's out of control. I mean, it's just unpredictable. This is like the key word right now for the energy is just unpredictable all the way around. So if you live in fire country, be careful because it's Mars retrograde and Cancer and in a lot of things. Okay. I'm glad to hear they're going to be found and they're going to be brought to justice.
Yeah.
We kind of need to make an example of some of these people. You know what I mean? Like if they got some pretty tough sentences, maybe they would slow their roll. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Okay. This just popped in my head. So these people that did this, were they doing that of their own accord, or was there external funding or external people either radicalizing them or funding them?
I don't think it was their own intentions. I feel like it was working with somebody else that has bad intentions.
Yeah, that's what I just got.
Well, and to be honest with you, we're already seeing that with what happened in New Orleans. That display in front of what was it in Vegas, and I feel like more of that's it's not lone wolves, but acts of terror, destruction. Yes.
I had gotten that, the troubles, right? I don't see us having a civil war. I see us going through something like Northern Ireland did with the troubles, where they had these citizen terrorists kind of, and here we are, right? We've got that in Vegas, we got that in NOLA, and perhaps maybe that's part of this thing with the fires. Oh God, I hope that wasn't the case. I mean, the part that burned, Pacific Palisades, isn't that a very wealthy area?
I think so.
Do you think this has a connection to like a Luigi kind of thing? If you understand what I'm saying.
Mm. I don't. I agree with what you're saying. I do feel like there's more protests against, like the elites, um, the ones in power. To me, I was feeling like it may have been a foreign
That's what I was
action.
thinking too. I was getting that's when I first asked you the question. That's why I asked you because I was getting it to be a foreign person. But they could brand it, publish it. They could, say that it was against because chaos is
Yeah,
the reason.
yeah, absolutely. And I had the devil just fly out too when I was shuffling,
Oh,
which
well, there you go.
yeah,
Chaos. We were just talking about this, Carrie, about the fires. Um, I don't, I hate to say it, but I don't see these fires out cold. I don't see the fire out cold. I kind of feel like it jumps or
mm,
it's hard to nail down. Maybe it's not as big as it is now, right? But I feel like it's not for whatever reason. I mean, I think this has been the driest year in
yeah,
LA, I heard. So that's one reason, right? And then you've got winds. This is not a normal situation.
yeah.
So
Well,
I
it's the
think it
winds right now that I think is what's making it so uncontrollable. But I do think that there's multiple fires going on too.
I think it could
So
be a bigger problem than it is than people think it's going to be. That's
yeah,
what I feel like. Um, Ron, unconditional love is here. I didn't get the chance to say hi to you last time, and I want to make sure I do it this time. Good to see you.
you're
Um,
right.
all right. Um, yeah. Do you feel like? Oh, that's Libby. Hey, Libby.
Yeah.
Do you feel like North Korea is going to continue supplying Russia with troops? She says North Korea came out months ago, said 4,000 of the troops have been killed. She imagines it's up to 10,000 now.
Yeah.
Um, when
And
I
I
went
actually
on
think
that,
it's higher than what they announced too.
yeah, it's high. It's even higher. When they first sent troops there, the guides are reminding me when I went into this energy, North Korea is like, we can't feed soldiers. Soldiers eat a lot. Young men eat a lot of food, and
Yeah.
food is scarce. And this is a good way for them to offload some human beings. And then also, obviously, it was a good way for them to test the battle readiness of their soldiers. But part of that was we just need to get rid of some people.
Yeah.
So they're not unhappy about losing, unfortunately. I hate to say it. North Korea is terrible. What do you get?
Well, I just get that the partnership with North Korea and Russia, there's an ending
There's an
coming soon.
ending.
Ending. It's like they're trapped
Mhm,
with doing the things behind the scenes. Um,
mhm.
and there's hope on the horizon for that situation. Yeah, yeah. I have Two of Cups and the Lovers. That's pacts, agreements, and then there's sabotage here. There's endings to that. I really don't feel like that situation is going to be going on for much longer because, like I said, I felt like there was going to be like a revolution kind of energy in Russia,
I did too, yeah.
and I still feel that way. So, I mean, the timing's not always the easiest thing to pick on exactly when, but it does feel like we're nearing that space. I'm feeling like spring.
Agreed. And so right now what's happening is that, Russia's inflation, again, we don't know exactly, but it's I think the actual reported is like 24%. Our highest inflation was half of that, right? Or less.
Yeah,
And so this is what I saw all those years ago was the Russian people rising up. And here we are in Pluto for Aquarius, power to the people. And Russia's given them a reason to rise up.
mm.
They can't buy anything. Their money's not worth anything. All the men are gone.
Their husbands
Yes,
and sons.
their husbands are
And
gone. Their sons are gone.
and the oligarchs are getting tired of having their money,
Yes, they're
losing their
flying
money
out
too.
windows.
Yeah. Well,
They're
maybe
flying out
eventually,
windows.
not too far out here, they'll band together um,
They
and
will.
topple the Putin regime. Yep.
I think Putin's own people are going to topple him because, like you said, the oligarchs. The oligarchs 5 years ago were living the life, right? They had the
Yeah.
yachts, they had the mansions everywhere. Their kids were going to Ivy League schools, their kids were going to great schools in Europe. They, they had it all. And now the ones that are alive are terrified every single day. All of
Mhm.
their stuff has been, taken away. Their yachts have been taken away. These people are gunning for him. He's got a lot of people that want him gone and have good
Yeah,
reason to want him gone.
absolutely. I
And
have a
I guess,
very, I have a suspicion that what happened in, Syria,
oh,
the end of Assad's regime, I feel like it's gonna be happening close to home with Russia.
yes, it's going to follow. It's going to
Mhm.
follow him I agree. I agree. And I've done video on it years and years ago. And so far, everything that I predicted has come true, but the timing has been
Yep.
broken,
Same for
broken.
me. Same for me.
So, also Libby from Meister Tarot said that, and I think this is an important thing to talk about, 'cause I don't know what we're going to do about it. But so 45 is on True Social, spreading falsehoods about the
Mhm.
fire, like he did with the guy, the New Orleans guy. He's saying,
Mhm.
oh, he came from over the border. What are we going to do? Do you feel like the media, how do we fix the media? Are we going to fix
Yeah.
the media? Are we just going to go to our own media, like on Threads and everything, all these media people that are popping up that are independents? Are you feel like we're going to do that? Or do you think we're ever going to get a law that's going to say truth in media, all these things?
Yeah. I do feel like more and more people are getting away from the mainstream media and doing more independent, stuff. We're gonna see that continue to rise. But I do feel like, and it may take a couple of years with it too. I think we've chatted about this before too, where information has to be vetted, um, or for entertainment purposes only. This is our opinions kind of thing, or if they do put out false stuff, having to retract stuff.
Right. Like they
Yeah.
used to, right? They used to run a correction,
Well, and now
right?
too, I heard that even Facebook was changing their rules about
Yes,
fact
they
checking. But
did.
I never thought Facebook fact checked anyway, because I'll tell you, I've seen um, a lot of conspiracy stuff on Facebook. So I don't know. I don't think they were doing very well with that. So,
Well, you know what? It's interesting because it was Meta. It's Threads and Facebook and Instagram.
mhm.
And what happened was Zuckerberg went to Trump and Trump said, "You're not going to fact check me. Like, no community notes, no nothing."
Yeah.
And part of the outcry of that was that apparently you could go to Meta, you could go to Instagram, you could go to Threads, and you could say outrageous things against gay, lesbian,
Hmm.
LGBTQ, against racial slurs, religious slurs, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna do anything about that either. So what's happening right now, which I think is fascinating, is, and this just all started last night. Um, Everybody is moving, like slow motion moving onto Blue Sky.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, really, because I'm on all three. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, and people are complaining. I love Threads. I don't want to leave Threads. And then they're like, never mind, I'm leaving Threads. So these people that think like people were so upset. The thing is that Zuckerberg can do whatever he wants. He owns it. But look what happened to Elon Musk with Twitter, with
Yeah.
X. It cratered. If Zuckerberg wants to turn Facebook and Meta, all of that, into a cesspool, he'll have nothing left. These billionaires cannot control us. They cannot.
Mhm.
Like, we stopped watching CNN. We
Yeah.
stopped watching mainstream media. There's plenty of journalists that lost their jobs that now have started their own news agencies
Hmm.
on social media. So I don't think it's going to work out. And then the other thing, let's read about Mark Cuban. Are you familiar with Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
He's a guy that has Cost Plus, which is, if you're not familiar, Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks. I think he
Yeah.
owns a bunch of businesses, and he was on Shark Tank. And he's kind of been known to be a little spicy. He's kind of been
Mhm.
known to have a little attitude. Well, this guy is on Blue Sky, and he is saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. Everybody's responsible for going to get 10 of your friends, your loved ones, your even your own business off of Meta and bring it to Blue Sky.
Oh,
Mark,
interesting.
Mark Cuban is going after Zuckerberg. Like, and he's actually quotes anything Zuckerberg says, or Musk. Mark
Yeah, well, I know
Cuban.
that him and Musk weren't,
Yeah, well, he's now
coming to
after
terms.
He's now after Zuckerberg. What
Oh,
do you? This is a guy, like, this should be as a surprise to you guys, but this is a guy that I could probably get behind if he ran for office, and there was never if there's not a Democrat running, right? Like, there's a Democrat
mhm.
running, but I mean, he's doing the thing. He's teaching us how to do it, right? And he at least
Yeah.
wants to pay his taxes. Do you feel like he'll ever run for office, or do you think he'll?
I I don't, but I think he's definitely contemplating it. And if he were to run, it would kind of be like on his own backing or like kind of an independent. Because I like Mark Cuban. He is a little bit more in the center though, but socially feels like
Yes,
more liberal. But you
yes.
know, but also like balanced budgets and I think being fiscally responsible. I think he's considering it, but I don't know if he wants all of that attention with that comes along with it, all the negative
Yeah, that's true.
stuff with
That's
it.
true. But he's getting drawn into it. I just watch
Mhm.
him first with Musk, and now he's going after Zuckerberg. I mean, it's like he's literally he can't help himself. It's like he's
Well,
getting
good for him.
drawn.
I think we all need to go after those that are wanting to kiss the ring for their own power, And the mainstream media is doing it too. I mean, I was
Oh,
very
yeah.
upset with Morning Joe. That was my morning routine to watch Morning Joe and to get my news then. And I refuse to watch them now.
No,
So
no, no, I can't. I can't. I just can't. I cannot do it. I'm very careful about where I get my news.
yeah,
Actually, um, even Midas Touch kind of jacks me up, right? Like, it's too high key. It's too. I don't know. It just makes me, makes my blood pressure go up. I can't have that.
right, right.
I cannot have that. So yeah, so it's interesting. So when you guys think that everything's going to hell in a handbasket and we don't have any, there's no bottom, the floor dropped out. There is a bottom. We have people like Mark Cuban, who's a
Mhm.
billionaire of his own self, right? We really do have citizens and people stepping up and saying, no, don't be a jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is super important.
Do you feel? I do feel like people are getting sick and tired of these billionaires, and um, I actually feel like a lot of people leaving Facebook, and there may be an alternative to Facebook. Not right away, but within like the next couple of years, I definitely see like Facebook's influence being diminished and something else kind of coming up.
Well, that's what people are trying to get Mark Cuban to do. They in the
Mm.
in the
Oh,
comments, they're like, dude, give us something, right?
right.
We're not most of us are not fans of Blue Sky. It's a little bit too much like Twitter. It has very limited characters, and it's just got a weird interface. Like, personally, I love Threads. Threads just feels like
Mhm.
home to me, but I don't know how long I can stay there with all of that.
I've never been really interested in doing um, X
Social
or
media.
Twitter. No,
Yeah.
I do have a Facebook, although I feel like I don't hardly spend any time on it. Maybe just updating some friends um, and for my Reiki classes, I did just start a community group there. But I hardly spend any time on social media. I do have an Instagram, and I see that new followers all the time jump up on there, but I don't know how to use it. So
I
I,
don't
I
either.
don't
Trying to learn how to use Instagram about the
I
time that
think
Meta goes
recently,
crazy. That's my timing, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, no, blue sky's surging because there was an exodus. I mean, there's no other way to say it except for that,
Mhm.
like one day, half of Twitter left and went to blue sky. So blue sky is doing great. And blue sky is independent. It's an independent
Mhm.
and it's not throttling or censoring.
Yeah.
I like threads, but threads censored me. And it still censors me. Like the other day I was trying to call somebody a bad word.
Mhm.
And
They didn't like it very much.
Threads is like, "Are you sure you wanna write it like that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes," and they're, "Are you sure you wanna write it like that? Because we might have to take this post down." I'm like, "All right." You
Well, and
know,
it's the same thing with YouTube too.
yeah,
I know that I'm
yeah.
not the only one. Um,
What are you trying to
and
say?
well, I'm just saying, I know that there's other readers in our community, but I can speak for myself. Sure, after the election, I lost some supporters, but subscribers. But even since, if I don't do a show every day or every other day, when I go on, I'll be down like 20, 30, 40 subscribers within a couple days time. And I know that
Oh,
not that many people are unsubscribing from me. I think it's YouTube
bots.
trying to filter us.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, you have to check your subscription because they'll
Well,
just
right.
unsubscribe you. It's like, I didn't
I've had it
unsubscribe
for
myself.
people that I've been subscribed to, just,
Yeah.
out of nowhere unsubscribed, and I didn't do that, so,
Right. Right, right.
yeah,
Right. So
they're censoring us.
I think it's interesting you're saying some new social media outlets
Mhm,
might be popping up. Um, there's really a need there. And I kind of feel like Meta, Instagram and all those, they and Blue Sky, I don't know, it's just like they make it just hard enough to use that you can't really get a big group of people and be very dynamic. I don't think
yeah,
they want us to have a big group of people that could be, well, like TikTok. Look what they did to
mm.
TikTok. They're like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Did you ever read on TikTok? Did you ever get that they would somehow allow that app to, you know, be legal?
Well, yeah, well, and would it be, somebody in the US having to buy, like, that portion or something?
Or not even the US, but like, anybody. They want anybody but China to own
Yeah.
it.
I feel like they're going to get a deal done with that, or maybe somebody comes in to I don't know,
I
where
kept
it's not
feeling like it was
all of
gonna
our
be s
information and privacy is going to China. I feel like they're gonna be able to come up with a solution to that. I don't feel like it's ending. But it does feel like it's maybe paused for a little bit, if that makes sense too, till they resolve it.
right. But I don't, um the problem is that whatever I mean, I agree that I think China is using TikTok. I agree. But also, Meta is using its metaverse too.
Mhm.
It's just that Meta is American. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's an innocent bystander here.
Oh, I
Uh,
agree. Mhm.
but there's a lot of Americans that make their whole living on TikTok. And there's a lot of Americans that use that app like a lot. So I think if it just disappeared, I think that would definitely stir that group of Americans that maybe don't vote and maybe just are
Mhm.
checked out. They might be like, wait, what? You know what I mean?
Right.
You might get their attention. They might wake up out of their comatose.
Yeah.
And then I think that'd be a problem for the powers that be.
I never got
Even
into TikTok personally, so to be honest with you, I don't care what
I
happens either
tried.
way.
I tried it. I didn't. I'm not saying I couldn't get addicted to it. I tried it, but I didn't
Mhm.
really. I just don't have the time to do all
Yeah.
these things, right? But you know, it's just a thing. Um, yeah, interesting. Anything else? You've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. I can't believe it. It's just like hanging out with friends and chatting. It's like so nice.
It goes by so quickly when you're having fun, right?
Yes, it does.
I don't like I said, Susan, I haven't been keeping up with the news, so unless there's something else that you wanna end on or that you wanna read.
All right, let's end with this. for one of our great moderators. What do we see for the Women's March January 18th? Oh my God, why is it January 18th? What's wrong with these people? I don't understand. Okay, I feel like astrologers feel when they're like, why would they do the debate on this day of all days? Like people should consult astrologers, psychics,
Is it a good
energy
day to do
healers
this?
before they do things, because I don't like this date at all. So the march is the 18th and the rally is the 19th.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did read on this a little bit,
Thank you.
but I'm not. Is it in DC or is it in big cities? Because to me, I almost feel like there's multiple marches for women, but I do feel like there is some unrest there from agitators too.
It's like putting a target on you. I mean, I hate to say it.
Mhm.
There have been women's marches on the 18th for a few years, but that I think we could all agree that this year's different, like it's a different thing. But there's multiple marches. Okay, thanks, Miss Annie. I think
Okay.
no, I think Jimmy Carter's funeral is this week. I think it's tomorrow. When is Jimmy Carter's?
The 9th, I think.
The 9th, right? Not the 19th, the 9th. Okay, yeah, the 9th, tomorrow. So I think it's going to be okay, but I think there's going to be shenanigans. I think there's just going to be like counter protest and
Mhm.
potentially some strife, pushing, shoving, some unpleasantness.
Mhm. I get a lot of big momentum and support for the marches.
Good.
Um, People, sharing their truth, trying to illuminate. I do get the Nine of Swords, which is a card of being a bit cautious, I feel
Yeah.
like. But I do feel like overwhelmingly, though, I'm not getting like the Tower or the Death card, but I do feel like there is
Good,
some
good, good, good.
agitations there. But people are tired of their freedoms, of their rights being taken away.
Yeah.
They're standing up and they're empowered here. So it feels good. I would be cautious if anybody plans to do it, just because the energy is so chaotic right now. Um, but I do feel like there's a lot of big support. Like I said, and maybe it's in DC, the main part, but I see it happening over a lot of big cities.
Yeah. I think it's just that there's one city where I think there could be some like commotion or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just that whole last 3 days is just so kind of, the energy seems really taut or fraught. And you know what I mean? It's like everything around those 3 days makes me a little jittery.
Yeah,
It's
I
me.
agree.
It's mostly me. The main women's march is in DC. I just think that's gonna draw, some militia. It's gonna draw some
Mhm.
people. And I take your point, Kevin, that people are tired. They're like, we don't care anymore, right? We're over it.
Mhm.
And that's part of the problem with Democratic Party is they keep being afraid of all the threats and everything. And I think at some point we just say, we just got to do it.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, there's too much on the line, right? Not to stand up for ourselves and speak our truth and speak out against all the injustice and all of the hate. I think right now it's so important not to allow all the injustice or that hateful, angry energy, even fearful energy to consume our own environment, our own internal environment, but rather use that as that motivation to act, to speak truth to power and to not just idly stand by and allow it to happen. I mean, we do have to fight um, for the world that we want to create, but don't allow that anger to consume you as well. Use it to push you forward, not hold you back and restrict yourself.
Right. Beautifully said, Kevin. Beautifully said. Love it.
Thanks.
And some of you guys are asking some questions we've already gone over. We've already been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. So if you want, you can watch the video from the beginning, and a lot of your questions about these things have already been answered. And thank you so much for joining me tonight, Kevin. I really appreciate it.
Yes, Susan, I always enjoy our time together, and we'll have to we have the holidays and everything going on, so we'll have to make sure to do this again soon. But I always
Oh,
look
yeah.
forward to it. I know a lot in the community really enjoy our collabs too, so it's
Yes.
always fun.
Absolutely. We usually do it about every month or every 6 weeks. So yeah, for sure. But check out Kevin's channel. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, check out his channel. And check out his website for healings and classes and things. Don't forget, I have a class this weekend on manifesting money, and you can find that on my website, susanlynnmedium.com. And take really good care, everybody. We'll see you again really soon. Okay. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together.
We will. Bye, everyone.